Ah yes, the Namor. Flexus Arroganticus. Half king, half fish, and fully allergic to shirts. Observe as he glides into battle, chin high, chest bare, radiating the quiet confidence of a man who thinks being royalty automatically makes him invincible. And should that confidence fail, he simply blows a horn and lets a giant sea monster do the fighting for him. Truly, nature's most hydrated egomaniac. Here we see Namor, king of Atlantis, boldly charging 6 opponents. A brave move, or foolish, but the king fights dirty, armed with 2 pocket squids, still alive somehow. These tiny terrors once felled gods, yet today they fail him. For Squirrel Girl and Groot unite, shattering his reign and his teeth. His final words? A royal protest. That's not fair. It was 2 against 1. And so, the king returns, fueled not by honor, but by pure spite. Squirrel Girl is the first casualty, flattened like roadkill. Groot, in sheer panic, throws up a wall and tries to escape. A noble effort, and utterly useless. Once Namor chooses his prey, not even IKEA instructions can save you. Groot is reduced to splinters, then stomped on repeatedly. Less a battle, more a royal tantrum. Final tally. Namor 1, Squirrel Girl and Groot 1. Once more, the king charges into battle, rage still burning. This time he summons Big Bertha the whale to finish the job. Groot, by the skin of his bark, scrambles away and flees in panic. But Namor's fury needs a victim. His eyes lock on Squirrel Girl. What happens next? Well, we cannot legally describe it. Final tally. Namor 2, Squirrel Girl and Groot 1. Hearing the cries of his subjects, the king storms back onto the battlefield. He spots an Emma ultimate and, like any opportunistic predator, pounces. Big Bertha. The whale is summoned once more, and this time she lands. Who's beneath her? Groot, of course, not chance, but a calculated act of royal pettiness. But tragedy doesn't end there. Poor Jeff, the innocent nightmare, is caught in the splash zone. Flattened. Gone. A dark day for Groot, but an even darker one for Jeff reigns everywhere. The fight rages on, each combatant giving their all. At the front lines, as always, stands Namor. And his first victim, Squirrel Girl. Again. At this point, one has to wonder, was it strategy, or simply a grudge so deep he'd chase her to the ends of the earth? With Squirrel Girl handled, he turns on Penny. Outmatched, she wisely tries to flee. But Namor, still cradling his grudges, calls upon Big Bertha once more. Groot, scarred from previous whale encounters, freezes in terror, likely realizing that, yes, grass does in fact lose to water. Yet fate spares him. Bertha lands, but Groot escapes by the bark of his teeth. Desperate, he unleashes his ultimate, joined by Squirrel Girl returning for revenge. 2 ultimates, all aimed at Namor. And yet, he endures. In the end, it is not flash or fury that decides the battle, but something far simpler. 2 squids and a shirtless dude. Ah yes, nature's most brutal predator. This is the Hulk, a creature capable of leveling cities, yet somehow convinced that cloak and dagger make a fine baseball bat. His target? A poor support, who at this point regrets every life choice that led them here. Why? Maybe he's still angry about being blinded mid-leap and yeeted off the map. Hulk's rage knows no logic, only loss. After witnessing his only friend's death at Thor's hand, confusion twists into fury. Retribution must be taken. Thor falls first, squished like a juice box, swiftly crushed, and Hulk, still blinded by rage, charges at the next target without hesitation. His rampage collides with Hela, who flees the towering storm of muscle, only to be caught and violently struck down. In Hulk's grief-driven wrath, no one escapes unscathed. The herd is in danger. The little nightmare lunges, teeth bared, and the Hulk arrives just in time. No hesitation, no mercy, just green rage. He barrels into the Jeff, slamming it teeth first into the curb. Not done yet, he spins to crush 2 tanks who dared stand in his way. Luna's backed into a corner, fear in her eyes. Thor looms, ready to strike. Suddenly, Hulk crashes in, scooping her to safety. He spins on Thor and, like a parent putting a kid in time-out, slams him down, teeth flying. Not on my watch. Hulk throws himself into the front lines, smashing, roaring, unstoppable. Wolverine strikes, relentless. Hulk fights back with all his might. But it's not enough. In a final, brutal clash, the Green Titan falls. All that remains is Banner, the puny human, left to face the aftermath. Once again, our specimen storms the front line, rage in full swing. He spots 2 tanks and leaps, ready to crush them, only to realize, oops, it's 6 predators now, circling him like he's a buffet. Luna sees her tanks in danger and charges in, yelling something heroic. Her dramatic entrance gives him the absurd boost he needs. With wild, over-the-top swings, he hilariously takes out Jeff and the Thing. Feeling full of himself, he lunges back into the fray. This time, Luna can't save him. Wolverine, craving his daily vanguard, makes his move. What transpires is hidden behind the chaos. The aftermath. Hulk lying dead on the ground. He spots Jeff, looking more like roadkill than a threat. Jeff panics and bolts, dragging him straight into his own team's trap. Anything that moves deserves a punch. Jeff tries a sneaky strike, darting between his teammates, but he leaps in, chasing him like a toddler after a runaway cookie. Chaos erupts as he swings wildly, smashing anything in reach. Jeff's teammates regroup and swarm, attacking from all sides. Poor, bewildered Green Giant flails helplessly, hero work completely backfired, leaving the battlefield a mess, and him questioning all his life choices. In the harsh reality of the rival ecosystem, one species has evolved to dance. Dance? Is this correct? Yes. Dance. Fascinating survival strategy, considering there are approximately 100 million ways to die out here. And she sings too? Oh, come on, surely that's a typo. No, apparently not. Behold, lunar snow, or to the academically gifted Glacialis popstaris ridiculata, known to the common folk as the K-pop idol with ice powers. The stage is set. Showtime. The Luna emerges, only to spot a rival Luna. She doesn't take it lightly, immediately pouncing, and in a shocking display of dominance, relieves herself on the intruder. Message clear. I am Alpha. This is my territory. Frozen and stunned, the lesser Luna is swiftly dispatched. Sensing danger near her territory, the Luna moves to investigate. Suddenly, Magneto appears, eyes filled with murder. Alone and terrified, the Luna resorts to her most primal defense. She pees. Yes, she unleashes an ice torrent upon Magneto himself. Momentarily stunned, his only thought must be, did she just pee on me? Which, to be fair, is not the kind of liquid metal he usually works with. Before his dignity rusts away entirely, Star-Lord joins the fray, snuffing out Luna's rebellion and salvaging what little pride Magneto has left. The Luna returns burning with vendetta and probably bad Wi-Fi. First target, Star-Lord. She doesn't just beat him, she tap dances on his career. Brutal, unnecessary, hilarious. But she's not done. No. Next on the hit list, Magneto. She pulls up with a squad, classic Luna tactics, and in a display of icy efficiency, deletes him from existence. Yes, Magneto. The master of metal. Taken out. By someone whose greatest weapon until now was a bladder. Scoreboard reads 1-1. Nature loves balance. And also, apparently, public humiliation. Once more, the Luna crosses paths with the lesser Luna. The clash is brief. The result? Immediate. The Luna spots Star-Lord, her favourite prey, and immediately launches the attack. Star-Lord, fearing for his life, does the only thing he knows. Run. He scrambles, desperate, eyes locked on the life-saving health pack just ahead. But the Luna will not allow it. She hunts him down and deletes him seconds before he can reach it. Truly a tragic end. He died like he lived, spamming the dodge button and praying the health pack would load faster. Bored out of her mind, the Luna toys with Wolverine in a deadly game of tag. He lunges, claws flashing, certain victory is his. For a moment he truly believes he's the Predator. Then it happens. The icy strike. The same fate as Magneto before him. Unbreakable bones, adamantium claws, but zero defense against public humiliation. He doesn't fall to her power, he dies of embarrassment, and as if fate were crueler still. The splash ricochets onto Magneto. This guy just cannot catch a break. The curtain draws near. The audience holds its breath. In one dazzling flourish, the Luna fells 2 opponents with style, her choreography flawless, her vengeance complete. Then, as the spotlight fades, she approaches the tank. The crowd expects a bow, perhaps a song. But no, this is Luna, and for her grand finale, she delivers the ultimate act of dominance. You already know what it is. The tank does too. And somewhere in the distance, Magneto sighs. Deep in the darkest part of Marvel Rivals' ecosystem, one creature stands apart and above the food chain. The Homo Demus Sol Renderus Maximum, known to the terrified as Magik, a rare apex predator. She wields an unnatural combination of demonic heritage and teleportation mastery. Her preferred hunting ground? Anywhere between right behind you and places you wish she couldn't reach. Notice her weapon, the Soul Sword, forged not of steel, but of pure arcane dominance. A single strike has been known to remove not just life, but dignity. Unlike other predators, Magik is not bound by the terrain. She slips between dimensions with the same casual grace one might use to step over a puddle, except, on the other side, is usually your untimely demise. And now, the hunt begins. She studies her prey, waits for the perfect moment, then steps through the veil of reality itself, the perfect predator. Mere seconds from claiming another victim, and immediately swatted from existence by Homo Billionarius Mechanicus Smuggius, known in common tongue as Iron Man, who then, with zero hesitation, said, "Jarvis, clip that." After dispatching Loki, Magik turns to claim the soul of Luna Snow. But Luna, gripped by fear, promptly relieves herself. the shock alone stunning our predator mid-strike. Magik hesitates, pondering a new and troubling question. Will she be too salty now? Fate grants Magik a rematch. She locks eyes with Iron Man, one thirsting for revenge, the other casually vibing. She lunges and misses. Now exposed, she's met with unbothered aerial superiority. After all, why worry about a sword when the owner can't even reach the balcony? Reinforcements. No, he steals the health packs, leaving her doomed. Iron Man finishes the job. Wolverine strolls away. Some suspect he's working for the other side. And so our specimen returns to the field. Iron Man 2, Magik 0. But apex predators are nothing if not persistent. She spots the nearest support and lunges, eager for an easy meal. Unbeknownst to her, another predator is watching. Homo patriota shieldus vindictus, Captain America. You see, she had killed him earlier during a rampage, and in the rival ecosystem, grudges run deep. She chances upon a lone Adam, separated from the herd, alone, vulnerable, and delicious. She strikes immediately, pausing only to confirm he is, in fact, alone. The Adam goes down without so much as a patch note to save him. She makes a narrow escape from an Iron Man ultimate, heart racing. Looking up, she's reminded of the trauma he's put her through. Iron Man, still feeling safe in the skies, is about to learn why Magik is feared. Success. The Iron Man falls. The score? Now 2-1. Now, on a vendetta-fueled rampage, she tracks down the rival Magik. The fight is swift, brutal, and gloriously one-sided. With her opponent crumpled, she tidies up the battlefield. Then, because victory tastes better with seasoning, hits an emote while staring dead into the lesser Magik's soul. She keeps it going until the match ends, just to make sure the salt fully marinates.
It is mating season in a rival ecosystem, and a lone male, known simply as Jefferson, begins to stare. After months of hibernation beneath layers of obscurity, the Jeff finally awakens, groggy but with purpose. First order of business: grooming. Thomas he has left his coat filthy and unkempt, but appearance matters during mating season, and the Jeff knows this too well. But before the hunt, hydration. He staggers towards a nearby stream. The Jeff drinks deeply, then takes a moment to cleanse. A refreshed predator is a confident predator. Now clean and composed, he clambers atop a sun-baited rock. Cold-blooded, he relies on the solar energy to function. This rock not only warms him, but it offers a perfect vantage point to scout his territory. Two birds, one stone. Fully charged, Jeff begins to move. It is time to hunt. As he slinks through the underbush, he does not do it so quietly. He marks key points across his path, territorial beacons, streaking of dominance. The scent lingers for miles, a pungent warning to any wandering male. This area is claimed. Enter at your own peril. He soon spots a potential target, not prey, but a rival. The venomous, juicy, meaty, and dangerously alluring, but the Jeff knows better. A misstep could see the hunter become the hunted. This one isn't worth the risk. He decides to forgo the hunt and seek something else. Then, movement. A lone Adam separated from the herd. Vulnerable, the Jeff lowers himself. Silent, focused, he waits for the perfect moment. And then it strikes. A toxic spit flings across the battlefield. Jeff's signature attack. Venom so potent it could down 20 elephants with a single drop. The Adam never saw it coming. Staggered and terrified, the Adam lets out a desperate SOS to the herd. But it's too late. Dragged into the abyss, never to be seen again. A successful hunt, and this is why the Jeff remains one of the most feared creatures in the rival ecosystem. While trotting down the road, he catches the scent of a female, not far, and it appears he is also in heat. He immediately moves towards the scent. There she is, the girl or fish thing of his dreams. But how will it turn out? Stay tuned for part 2. Subscribe for more.
The Spider-Man, loved by many, hated by many more. Today we observe his hunting habits in the wild. His chosen prey, the humble squirrel girl. Small, swift, and delicious. At least in his eyes. With deadly focus, he pounces. But his dinner has other plans. Squirrel Girl squirms, wriggles, and slips free of his grasp, like buttered toast sliding off a plate. Squirrel Girl, believing herself safe, creeps back to the front lines. But the moment she pokes her head out, like a dinner bell ringing, Spider-Man is on her once more. She thrashes and struggles, desperate to shake him off, but the situation grows dire. Her support, witnessing the chaos, leaps in and drags her back to safety. Enraged, Spider-Man abandons his prey and lunges at the support. But lurking among them is Luna, a healer as cruel as she is cunning. With a wicked grin, she injects him with Ice Pea, killing him on the spot. Our specimen returns to the front lines and instantly locks onto Squirrel Girl. Without hesitation, he swoops in, snatching her from her team like a raccoon raiding a trash can. And now, the real hunt begins. Separated from her herd, Squirrel Girl is alone, defenseless. Basically, the Walmart rotisserie chicken of the battlefield. Spider-Man refuses to let her scamper back to safety. No, instead, he's here to make her pay for every trauma Luna put his fragile soul through. He can still smell the pea. Squirrel Girl, freshly respawned and thinking the coast is clear, pokes her head out like a curious meerkat. Bad idea. Spider-Man, still salty, dive bombs her instantly, scoops her up and dunks her straight into the pavement. The humiliation is so brutal. Now paranoid, Squirrel Girl tiptoes out of spawn like a tourist in a dark alley. But fate is cruel. From the shadows emerges Cloak and Dagger, Spider-Man's new accomplices in humiliation. Together, they pounce with all the grace of a schoolyard bully stealing lunch money. And just like that, back to spawn she goes again. Spider-Man lurks in the shadows, waiting to torment the fragile Squirrel Girl, who must by now be questioning why she's the main course on his personal menu. But before she can finish the thought, BAM! He reveals himself, terror raining down like a caffeinated hawk. She falls once more. But Spider-Man isn't done. His many eyes lock onto Luna, the true culprit in his misery. With vengeance burning brighter than his spandex, he unleashes his ultimate straight at her. Bored with Squirrel Girl, Spider-Man shifts his hunger to Luna. But Luna, ever the slippery support, senses danger and bolts for her team. He nearly has her, when suddenly the little nightmare swoops in and devours them both. What follows is pure chaos. The sound of teeth dragging across the floor, and a kill feed lighting up like Christmas morning. Ever the lurking spider, he spots Luna and Squirrel Girl together. PTSD kicks in instantly. But then he remembers his therapist's advice. When in doubt, alt them out. And so he does, deleting both in a glorious panic attack of justice. He immediately turns his attention to the tanks. He claws, bites, and annoys them relentlessly, like a mosquito that refuses to die. The tanks stand tall, but Spider-Man, he's just here to harass for sport. The game nears its end. Spider-Man, still nursing grudges, spots Squirrel Girl one last time. Fueled by pettiness, he pounces. She barely escapes and flees to the one creature he truly fears, Luna. And Luna, living up to her reputation, promptly puts Spider-Man back in his place. Defeated and humiliated, he collapses, only for Squirrel Girl to use his body as a springboard, leaping to victory and ending the match in the pettiest way imaginable. In the dense, volatile wilds of Marvel Rivals, one creature lurks in the shadows of every spawn room, uncoordinated, unhinged, unaware of the team in team game. Behold, the Instalocker, a living paradox. They want to be the hero, yet can't spell objective. They chase glory, but bring only shame. Let us observe, as disaster unfolds in real time. The Instalocker is a migratory bird of prey, often spotted within 13 seconds of patch notes dropping. A new character releases. They appear instantly. No hesitation, no context, just vibes. Click, locked. They haven't read the kit. They haven't checked cooldowns. Their entire understanding of the character is from a TikTok combo guide with loud dubstep over it. This is their courtship display. I got lured in 2 days, which roughly translates to, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm doing it confidently. Despite their aggression, the Instalocker is in fact prey. Delicious, free-range prey. To be picked off by literally any enemy with a functioning mouse. Watch as they sprint headfirst into the enemy backline. Alone. Again. They die. They respawn. They do it again. This isn't strategy. This is performance art. The Instalocker does communicate, but not in ways useful to their species. Instead, they shriek in all caps, emit high-pitched pings like a dying microwave, and type profanities that would make a sailor cry. Any attempt to reason with them is met with phrases such as "sup diff," "no heals WTF," and the classic trash team uninstall. Scientists still debate whether they even know how to open the scoreboard. When the team fails, as they inevitably will, the Instalocker initiates their most sacred ritual, the blame cascade. The support, trash. The tank, griefing. The game, rigged. Their own gameplay, flawless, obviously. And in a final flourish of denial, they type, GG no diff. Dear viewer, there was, in fact, a massive diff. It was them. Perhaps the most tragic symptom of the Instalocker condition is the Lord icon. Earned in record time, it gleams with misplaced pride. Proof not of mastery, but of obsession. They've played 50 matches in a single night. Learned nothing, changed nothing. Still feeding. A border that screams, I'm not good, I'm just fast. And yet, even as we mock them, even as we report them. We too feel the pull. The new character drops. She's hot. She's busted. She's thick with a capital C. You glance at the timer. You hover over her icon. You lock in. Dear viewer, you were the Instalocker all along. And there you have it, folks. The migratory menace, the lobby-destroying disaster, the human embodiment of a respawn timer, the Instalocker. A plague to teamwork, a scourge to strategy, the final boss of fun. And, turns out, that menace is me.
This is the Jeff Noob, also known as Noobis Jefferson. Lacking any survival skills, they are oblivious to the dangers around them. This lack of awareness has caused the Noobis Jefferson to perish over and over again. What they lack in skill, they make up for in loyalty. The Noobis Jefferson will sacrifice everything to protect its teammates. This act of loyalty often means they become the target, leading them to perish once again. However, for a noble cause, they stand triumphant, even in death. Unskilled and unrefined as they may be, they are still Jeffs and instinctively know when to dive off the map. This is Rocket Raccoon, commonly referred to as a rat with a big gun. These tiny little creatures are known for their loyalty towards their teammates and their refusal to let them perish. Noble a cause as it may be, this often means they become prime targets, leading them to perish themselves. Even with death as their only reward for their unwavering loyalty, the Rocket Raccoon will charge through any danger to ensure the safety of his teammates. Alas, they have had enough of his meddling. Banding together to take him down completely, the Rocket Raccoon attempts a distraction to flee for his life. Venom refuses to fall for his tricks, focusing on eliminating him once and for all. It manages to escape the wrath of the Venom and uses its body to shield the respawn beacon. It dies so its teammates may be reborn, a testament to their loyalty. This is the Pheonix, otherwise known as Pyrodio Thickums, a new creature to emerge from the rival ecosystem, one that shares its body with a symbiotic parasite. This mutual alliance allowed the Pheonix to survive in an otherwise harsh and hostile environment. Distance offers only the illusion of safety. With a single focused gaze, the Pheonix can fell prey from over 30 feet away. When it locks eyes, it's already too late. Impressive as it may seem, nothing comes close to its ultimate attack. This can reduce the entire team to nothing but ash, leaving only destruction in its wake. Zappes Shokokitis, also known as Storm, is an unruly force of nature, and we are graced to observe it hunt. The first of its victim, the Wolverine, goes down with a thud. Fueled by unbridled anger and hatred towards the Storm, the Wolverine attempted an assassination over and over again, only to fail. Feeling untouchable, she decides to take on the entire team by herself, a decision she will soon come to regret. Humiliated, The storm returns with vengeance to devour everything in its path. The other gets caught up in the destruction, a poor choice of nesting site. The storm spares one prey to repopulate, ensuring that there is always more to hunt, more to eat. Still dazed and confused about what just happened, the released prey press on the attack. A foolish choice. This was not a smart move. Eventually, she dies of old age.
This is Captain America. Today, we observe the defining traits of this remarkable species. What you have just witnessed is its rare, battle-right display, a ritual of discipline and ferocity, brutal, yet oddly beautiful, as nature so often is. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called yanking it. It's showtime. Our specimen collides with a Black Panther, who, out of fear, freezes in place. The Captain America, or for the more gifted-minded, Shieldy Boy, begins his aura farming ritual. Summoning his courage, the Black Panther decides to test the waters. He bumps into the Captain, who takes great offense. For Shieldy Boy, a bump is never innocent. It is a declaration of war, a challenge for territory. The Panther puts up a respectable fight, but ultimately falls before the Captain's shield. After all, who could hope to survive when their skull is cracked by vibranium? Continuing his rampage, our specimen encounters a Black Widow. Upon sighting him, she delivers a vicious strike aimed directly at his most delicate region. Luckily, he reacts in time, shielding his offspring from devastation. Defeated, Shieldy Boy flees the battlefield, not without sustaining punishing blows to his hindquarters. One must wonder, how exactly will he relieve himself now? Reeling from the back shots, Shieldy Boy takes down the Black Widow before turning his sights on Adam. As expected, Adam ults in sheer panic, classic Adamane behavior, choosing the most peculiar nesting ground imaginable. He falls quickly, yet with his final gasp, still manages to bring his entire team back. The fight rages on, everyone doing something. Some actually helping, others mostly just flailing. Shieldy Boy lunges just in time to save his ally, who was completely at the mercy of a most peculiar predator. And of all things, it's an Adam. Didn't he already check out earlier? And despite his best effort, Adam still perishes. Yep, nobody's surprised. Nature called it from a mile away, reuniting with his supposedly dead teammates. Because Adamanes are nothing if not dramatic. One moment gone, the next back, and getting taken out all over again, our specimen charges in once more. Cloak and Dagger throw some dirt right into his eyes. Blinded, disoriented, and yet, somehow, Captain still manages to take down the Black Panther. I suppose the smell of fear was simply too irresistible to ignore. Cloak delivers another dirt serving and meets his demise. Frustrated, Captain turns to Black Widow and the peculiar Doctor Strange, leading to her demise too. Whilst most creatures would perish when struck, Captain remains completely unfazed. This species thrives under harsh conditions. Observe him strolling through Cloak's ultimate while still bothering his support. Someone really needs a restraining order on this man. Or maybe two. He persists, pushing forward. Black Widow, sensing danger, tries to flee, but Captain's shield has other plans, breaking her spine in two. Nature is brutal, yet oddly efficient, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you never outrun a walking vibranium wrecking ball. Whilst engaged in his aura farming ritual, Captain bumps into Invisible Woman, who out of fear holds her breath and position. A tiny escape of gas draws our specimen back. Fortunately, she is saved. Black Panther, on the other hand, fares far worse. Our specimen, now feeling invisible, moves to the enemy team's spawn to aura farm once again. However, Black Panther, having had enough, dashes through, taking out 3 prey, Captain included. Let's just hope he doesn't come back for revenge. Black Panther and Captain meet again. One out for revenge, the other pleading for his life. Somehow, Black Panther convinces Captain to leave, with the promise of a secret stash. I think we all know what it is, and like a cockroach, he scurries away to harass the next prey. Sporting Emma Frost, he gives chase. every swing aimed and directed at her. She falls, followed immediately by a shield into the ribcage of Psylocke. Where's the Mortal Kombat guy when you need him? Next, Cloak gets the same treatment. Not a hero, not a villain, but a public menace with a shield. Truly, nature's restraining order waiting to happen. This is Thor, a creature of might and pure strength. Yet today he takes to battle in summer shorts. Just don't look up when he ults. Mantis did, and was struck twice. Once by the hammer, and once by what she saw. Here we see Thor in the wild, chasing down a lone phoenix. With a powerful swing, he slams his hammer into her teeth, followed immediately by a refreshing drink. Truly, no summer barbecue is complete without proper hydration. With a taste for Pheonix, Thor gives chase. She flees, so he vents on a poor support before turning back. The Pheonix fights hard and drives him off, for now, but he'll return, craving barbecue fried chicken. Thor returns to finish what he started. Though surrounded by prey, his focus remains solely on the Pheonix. At last, she's had enough, unleashing her ultimate in a desperate attempt to shake him. But it's not enough. The moment she descends, he is upon her, tired, yet still clinging to life. The Pheonix makes one last attempt to flee. Thor, sensing her weakened state, pounces without mercy. And at last, barbecue chicken. Thor returns to his allies, but the sound of flapping wings cuts through the air. Instantly he spins, hurling himself back into the enemy team. Pheonix KFC must be that good if he's willing to risk his life for a bite. But this time, her flock rallies around her. Together, they clip his wings and serve up revenge instead. On a fresh battleground, our specimen charges once again. Black Panther steps up bravely, only to learn the hard way that lightning to the crotch is nature's fastest birth control. Jeff the Little Nightmare attempts to suck Thor in, jaws gaping like a cosmic vacuum. But the Asgardian slips free, leaving Jeff looking as though he's just kissed a vacuum bag. "What's this, Pheonix KFC? Don't mind if I do," Thor says, charging in. To him, it's no battle, it's a buffet. Pheonix for the main course, a side dish of Jeff, and to wash it all down, a refreshing invisible woman. The deed is done. The only thing to make this moment perfect would be, and right on cue, KFC. We observe our specimen taking a rare break from the hunt, just relaxing with the girls. He sips some water, until he notices Invisible Woman's feet, and decides, apparently, a bath is in order. Round 3, and the battlefield is pure chaos. Thor spots Pheonix and, like a moth drawn to light, lunges for her, only to miss entirely. He lands behind the enemy team and goes to town on the supports. Invisible Woman falls first, then Jeff. Both downed. Thor pauses, surveying his handiwork. With their supports gone, the enemy team rallies one last time. This time, their combined efforts pay off. Thor falls, struck down at last. Sensing an opportunity, Thor lunges again for the backline. She cancels his ultimate, though she is unable to save Jeff, and Thor falls, lying alongside him. We witness a 1v1 between Thor and the KFC and Pheonix. However, her team intervenes, forcing Thor to flee. He returns, kidnaps his chick, Pheonix, drags her into a hole and devours her whole. Pheonix KFC must really be something. He goes in for seconds. And who's on the menu? Why, Jeff, of course. He tries to flee, but alas, it was not enough. And so, the battlefield grows silent. Pheonix KFC and a side of Jeff. Truly, a meal to remember. In the wild, few rivalries are as bitter or as pointless. The Moon Knight main, fueled entirely by spite, and the Spider-Man main, sprinting headfirst into chaos, proudly allergic to teamwork. For generations they fought not for victory, but simply to ruin each other's day. And yes, both will still blame the healer. Here we see the Moon Knight main vibing happily while terrorizing the enemy team. But suddenly the Spider-Man main attempts a sneak attack. Sadly, such moves require patience and brain cells. He has neither. Moon Knight catches him instantly and delivers nature's cruelest punishment, a bonk to the eye. Here we see the Spider-Man main stalking his prey. A web lands, and Moon Knight, in panic, hurls an onk at the floor. This was no attack, only mind games, outplayed by fear and himself. Moon Knight, fueled by rage, strikes out at the enemy. And, unsurprisingly, Adam is the first to fall, probably asking for directions mid-fight. Typical. Satisfied with his rampage, Moon Knight returns to his team, only to be greeted by a hail of ultimates. Each enemy stands defiantly, refusing to give up the point. He charges in, confident, but alas, his skull proves too soft. By sheer misfortune, a 60-inch steel pipe thrown by Healer, clearly not aimed at him, strikes with perfect comedic timing. Now out for blood, Moon Knight storms the front lines. Psylocke, obliterated in one dramatic swipe. Thor and Invisible Woman, swept aside like paper in a hurricane as he unleashes his ultimate. And Hela, attempting a heroic escape. Poor choice. She's now somewhere much, much better. Probably questioning all her life decisions. Here we see Moon Knight, spotting a chance to be a proper menace. He strikes, only for Psylocke to ruin all his fun. Somehow he survives, returns to the front lines, and dies, dragging Adam with him. One must wonder, what terrible paperwork did Adam forget to file? And where is Spider-Man in all of this? Plotting his revenge, biding his time. The scene shifts to a new map, and behold, Spider-Man, ever patient, is ready for retribution. He singles out Moon Knight on first contact, striking with the precision of a caffeinated predator. Moon Knight knew it was coming, but, alas, lacked the 2 brain cells required to do anything about it. The score now stands at 3-1 in favour of Moon Knight, while Spider-Man slinks away. Biding his time, Moon Knight rejoins his team and promptly deals with Thor, who, inconveniently, was in the middle of a photo shoot. Spider-Man strikes back with surgical precision, leaving our hapless specimen defenseless. Another 60-inch steel does the trick, and chaos resumes. On his way back, he spots Spider-Man, and in a fit of spite, Solo ults him. Crushed, mangled beyond all reason. Tally now, Spider-Man 2, Moon Knight 4. But in the rival ecosystem, predators are nothing if not petty. Observe Spider-Man, lurking patiently, waiting for the perfect chance to strike. He pounces, not on a support, oh no, but on Moon Knight, aiming to crush him. Moon Knight, ever the hero, gives chase to save his team, only to realize too late he was the target all along. In the end, revenge is served, and Spider-Man now lives rent-free in Moon Knight's head. And so the hatred continues. In every lobby, watch closely, and you might catch a glimpse of these two locked in battle once again. Moon Knight striking, Spider-Man plotting, each move a reminder that in this rivalry nothing is ever truly settled.